Hello, everyone.
I'm Carl,
And I'm Em.
and welcome to our podcast discussing all of the latest books. This is our 23rd episode, and technically we're going to be discussing Midnight Sun, but technically we're also not. Em will get more into that later. Spoilers will not lie ahead this round. Well, actually, they might, depending on the trivia.
We promise to give you all of our honest opinions on all the characters, chapters, and scenarios. We don't mean any harm to any of the authors, especially in this case. This is solely our opinion. We promise, as always, to call them like we read them.
Period. Fun fact, I do not have any trigger warnings for you because I have not read the book.
So we both tried to read the book. I made it a lot farther than Carly did, but unfortunately, it was just so repetitive of what the Twilight book was. It was really hard to read. To be honest, I tapped out whenever Edward was stalking Bella in her room and he talked about a spider for like 20 pages. So it was really hard to get through and like be excited about reading it. So we are not going to be discussing Midnight Sound very much, but we will be doing some Twilight trivia to make up for that. I hope you guys are okay with that. We will be talking about what we're looking forward to reading in the next couple books because we are excited about reading that. It was just such repetitive stuff that I think it was just really hard for us to get into. So I'm sorry if you read Midnight Sun and you're tuning in to discuss that. I hope to read it eventually because I still haven't read it since it got released, but reading it back to back was just not, it wasn't going to work. We've worked on it for 2.5 weeks now, and unfortunately, this is our first DNF, but it's not a negative DNF because it was bad writing or anything terrible like that. It was just really hard for us to reread the same thing we just read and just from a different perspective. There wasn't very much difference besides like small details that really just didn't matter.
Well, and so Emily, like she said, read a lot farther than I did. I didn't read it and was unable to get into it. I actually didn't have the desire to read it in general, which could be partially me like in a reading slump, not necessarily reflective of the book itself and the author. So I don't want to give it any like negative review or anything. We do hope to read it
We won't be
eventually.
reviewing it at all since we did not finish it. So,
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
So
I don't think it's fair on her part.
if you read it, if you loved it, hated it, feel free to comment on our post and let us know whether or not we should even read it. Yeah. Also, I'm not sure if you noticed the size difference in Twilight and Midnight Sun, but it's a really big book and we have full-time jobs. So it's also kind of a big commitment.
It was just really hard for me to like get motivated to read it because I already knew what I was reading. Honestly, what kept me hanging on was the commentary that Edward had in Rosalie or Alice's or Jasper's or Emmett's head. Because really, honestly, Bella did a pretty good job of reading Edward and reading his expressions to be able to explain it, where the other ones were not as well kind of explained.
Gotcha.
And that was kind of the part that was kind of new for me. Honestly, he did for about 20 pages debate whether or not to kill a spider in Bella's room because he felt like it could risk her life. And I was like, I don't feel like this is what 100 and something-year-old vampire should be talking about. So I was okay with not. We were going to still try to read it, but we just didn't think we were going to be able to get it done and be able to read the rest of them. So I hope you don't mind, but we are going to do a trivia in place of this, and we're just going to discuss a little bit more about what we look forward to in the next couple books, rereading and stuff. We're going to try our hardest not to DNF the rest of this series. So, which honestly, Twilight was really quick for me to read through because I was excited to like reread that part. So I really just think it was a matter of reading the same thing as what we just read. So
I was going to say, I wouldn't even call it a DNF for me because I never really even started it. And we did read one that I wanted to DNF and Emily would not let me. So considering we've got
hey, we read another one I wanted to DNF and we you wouldn't let me. So
considering we've got
no.
to episode 23 and not had to DNF or, the episode go wrong or something, I think we're doing pretty good. So give us a little grace.
Yeah,
And the trivia will be
especially full-time
fun.
jobs
So
and
it's not,
everything.
we're not ranting about politics or something.
You know. So I guess, are you ready to get started?
Let's get into it.
All right. So I just have some random kind of questions and things. Probably most of them I'm not going to remember the answer to because it's been so long since I've been in my Twilight obsession.
Same.
So hopefully it's not terrible. I may fail every question. We'll
I'll
see.
just know nothing.
So, on which exact date it was Edward Cullen born? December 21st, 1942, January 2nd, 1909, June 20th, 1901, or July 17th, 1901?
Oh, it's between the last two. I know 1901 is the year.
Yeah.
I'm
I was thinking June.
I was gonna say I feel like in my gut it says June.
Yep, we're right.
Yes, we got the first one.
So, what was the name of Bella's old ballet studio?
Oh,
Dance Phoenix, Marie's Dance Studio, Phoenix Dance Works, or Mimi's School of Dance?
Marie sounds right for some reason.
I was thinking Marie too. I kind of like thought Phoenix Dance Works, but we're gonna go with Marie.
Okay.
No, it was Mimi.
Ah, it's the M that got us. That's such a weird name.
I know. I
Surprised.
was at least thinking like Phoenix or something.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't stand out to us how weird the name was.
Honestly, I didn't pay attention to it at
Well,
all,
you know we
to
like
be
to
honest.
complain, so
Honestly, if it did stand out to me, it probably was going to be a wrong name or something anyway, so it didn't really matter. On which date did Bella tell the Volturi that she would be changed? August 13th, December 31st, June 20th, or July 27th? It was her birthday, wasn't it?
I think it's her 18th birthday. Yeah.
Wasn't that in August? Because June 20th wasn't that Edward's birthday?
I think the
Yeah,
June.
that was Edward's birthday. So they don't have the same birthday.
No, they do not. I'm trying to think of when they had the birthday party. Was it winter?
In the movie, I thought it was like spring or like fall.
Okay, if it was fall, it'd be August.
I may be wrong.
Did the birthday party
You
happen
know these
right after
minors,
school started?
we haven't read that book yet, so I don't know. We reread it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, we did. We just reread it. Twilight.
No, this is when she told the Volturi that she was going to be changed. So that's not until Eclipse.
No, but I'm saying if it's new moon. But I'm saying if she
Oh yeah, that is Newman.
when her birthday party is would be her birthday. So we could line it up that way.
Yeah.
Let's go with August.
Okay. Yep, we're right.
Yes. I didn't think it was that quick, but we'll take it.
Why did Carlisle turn Esme? Because he was in love with her, because she was dying of a car accident, she had jumped off a cliff and was dying, or he predicted that she would be
The
powerful. The third
cliff,
one.
yeah. That was easy. It's also really sad.
Who changed Jasper? Carlisle, Jane, Alice, or Maria?
Maria.
Honestly, Maria in the movie was not how I pictured her in the book. I ain't gonna lie.
I agree. That's one of my favorite storylines, though, of this entire
Hmm.
series. So, like, I feel like I remember every detail about Jasper. And I say that, and then there'll be like 7 questions about him. I'll get them all wrong. So let me not get confident.
Jasper's storyline is probably the most interesting out of all of them, though, to be honest.
I feel like it's almost the most in depth that we get, and I think that's because it's part of the plot of the third movie and third book. But
We get Rosalie a little bit.
yeah, we do. But we get what happened to her, what she did, and then it's like she moved on from it. You know what I mean? Whereas
True.
Jasper, like,
Yeah.
it still impacts him every day.
Yeah.
I don't
That
know.
makes sense.
I don't know. Also, I just love Jasper.
So, true or false? Alice could see visions since before she was a vampire. I think that's why she was in the mental institution,
I was about
wasn't
to say,
it?
didn't we just talk about whether or not she was in a mental institution and it was because she could see things?
Are you good with true?
Sure.
Okay. Yep.
Yes. We're killing this. We've only missed one so far.
We're not very many questions into it, so I wouldn't get too cocky. I think we've only answered like 7, so
6 out of 7 is not terrible.
We're only 10 minutes into this episode.
That's true. That's true.
So, what was the Cullens' excuse to miss schools on sunny days? Sickness, hiking and camping, volunteering, or visiting family? That's easy.
Hiking
Hiking.
and camping, which also I never really understood.
Honestly, I don't understand because you know how the school always had like the officers or whatever, they
The
come knock on your
truancy
door if
officers.
you didn't show up
Mhm.
for work. Yeah.
Mhm.
How did that school not have that? I guess because it's a small town, but still, even like the school I grew up in was very small, and we still had a truancy officer.
Same.
He knocked on a lot of people's door.
I bet he did.
What is the name of Alice's biological sister? Carly, Cynthia, Sophia, or Rosalie? I didn't know she had a biological
Me
sister.
neither. It's definitely not Carly, and it's definitely not Rosalie because I would remember both of those. What were the other two?
Sophia or Cynthia? I remember a Sophia at some point.
Do you? Cynthia sounded better to me, but that could just be.
You want to rock, paper, scissors over it?
Yeah, let's go.
Rock, paper. Can you even see me?
No. Can you see me? I did
You're
scissors.
just hoping I'm being honest.
I did
I
scissors.
did.
I trust
Okay,
you.
so we're gonna go with Sophia. Oh no, you were right. It was Cynthia.
Dang it! No, I'm just kidding. I don't care.
It says Alice tells Bella about her new moon. The book.
I'm gonna say I just watched that movie, so it's not in the movie.
Uh, what is the Forks High School mascot? Eagles, Panthers, Spartans, or Wildcats? I think it's the Spartans.
You run with that girl, because I don't have a clue.
No, 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 wait. I think it's Panthers. I don't know. Because what didn't Mike dress up in a costume in the movie?
In which movie?
I don't remember. One of them where she was still going to high school.
I just watched Twilight and New Moon, and I don't remember a single mascot.
I don't like. I literally have a vivid memory of him in a costume.
Well,
But
she's still in high school in Eclipse, isn't she? She's one more
I
year.
know, but like in the movie, it doesn't really have a whole lot of
No, I know.
actual high school stuff.
No, but I'm saying like she is technically still in there, so it might be that movie that he dresses up that I don't remember.
I don't know. You just choose one because I'm not sure.
Okay, give me the options again.
Eagles, Panthers, Spartans, or Wildcats?
And you thought it was between Spartans and Panthers?
Yeah, but don't take that for anything. Because I'm also in my memory remembering Mike in an Eagles costume. So-
I was gonna say I was the Eagles, so like my gut wants me to say Eagles because we were the Eagles, but also Wildcats for some reason kind of sounds right, and that's not either of the two that you chose.
All four of them can't be right.
What?
All four of them can't be right.
Do you want to rock paper scissors over it again?
Sure. But what do we rock paper? Because I'm at three of the four answers, and you're at four of the four answers.
Okay, pick your final answer. Actually, no, the common denominator. Pick Eagles. Let's just go for it.
Okay. No, it was Spartans.
Dang it! You gotta trust
Oh,
yourself.
we should have known it was on the sign outside the school.
Who should have known? I don't read the sign outside of the school.
I did. I remember reading it whenever I watched the movie, but I didn't remember it.
You're crazy.
I think this one is pretty easily. Isle Esme is off pretty easy.
Pretty easily.
Isle Esme is off of the coast of which city? Rio de Janeiro, Maramar, Punta del Este, or Male?
Why did you think that was gonna be easy?
Because in Breaking Dawn, there's a scene that happens before they go to the island where they're attending Carnival.
But what are the options again?
Rio, Maramar, Florida, Punta del Este, Uruguay, or Male, Maldives.
So you're saying it has to be Rio.
At least movie wise,
I think you're right.
I am.
Okay.
We got 7 out of 10 correct.
I'm telling you.
Thank you to BuzzFeed for your wonderful quiz. Appreciate you.
Wait, that was your BuzzFeed? Hang
Yeah.
on, I have another one, I think.
Well, it gave like different options that you could use. I did the one that was the books.
Oh, I see how it is. You wanted us to fail. Okay. All right, let's
Okay,
see.
so in which year was Twilight published? 2004, 2005, 2010, or 1800?
Okay, I can tell you this. The first movie came out in 2008, and I only know that because we just looked it up. So it has to be
Didn't you
04.
say 2005 the other day?
It has to be 04 or 05, and I feel like you're right. I feel like 05 is right.
I think that's what you said on the back of the book the other day.
I know I read
Yeah,
it, but
that was correct.
yes.
Fun fact that it also gives me, this is off of Trivia Nerd, so thank you very much for your quiz. Stephanie Meyer's novel Twilight was published in 2005, marking the beginning of a highly successful young adult vampire romance series. The book's release sparked a global phenomenon, leading to a popular film adaptation and a dedicated fan base.
Fun fact, Midnight Sun didn't come out till 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just like a couple years ago.
It was a
She was
15-year
releasing,
anniversary.
yeah, on her website she was releasing chapters until somebody leaked a bunch of chapters, and then she just basically put out a statement saying she wasn't going to release any more chapters anymore since people were spoiling, which I don't know how in the world they got the chapters to begin with, but because I was reading the chapters that she released. I think she released them like weekly, monthly, something like that,
Hmm.
and I would get on there and I would read the new chapters she released every week or every month or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
You're gonna love this one. Which of these is a powerful vampire coven in the Twilight series? The Denali, the Cullens, the Volturi, or the Avengers?
The Avengers. Avengers, a symbol.
It depends on what they're considering powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna guess if they have the Collins and the Volturi in the same question and it talks about powerful, then I'm gonna guess.
I'd say the Volturi.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess they mean the Volturi. But if you think about it, the Collins really are powerful. They have different gifts.
And then technically they all get a big clan together to go up against the Volturi, and the Volturi were scared.
Man, we talked about this the other day, and I'll probably talk about it again when we get to Breaking Dawn. I will never forget the moment that I was sitting in the theater in Breaking Dawn, and the lead guy, Aro, or whatever his name is, rips
Mm-hmm.
Carlisle's head off. I'll never forget that moment till the day that I die.
I know. I literally remember like leaning up in my seat and like looking at my mom because we went to the midnight premiere, and I was like, "That did not happen in the
Yeah,
books!" And like everybody was screaming in the theater. It was so bad. I was like, "That did not happen. It did not." I was so
I
mad.
was crying. I'll never forget that.
It was such an emotional moment, and like looking back, it's really not that great, like graphic wise.
Yeah.
Like it, so I'm just like, I don't have that same feeling, but I still get goosebumps because I still like hear the memory of like everybody just like shouting and like getting upset and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like that was probably, I think Breaking Dawn Part 1 was like the biggest movie release that I had, like the first
Mhm.
one that I had been to. And so, like, then for that to happen in the actual theater, I was like, are you serious? I was freaking out.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. That was actually, I think, my second midnight release, and the first one was, I think, was Eclipse.
Yeah, if y'all
And
didn't know,
so
Emily's
I
old.
remember
I'm just kidding.
not that much older than you, but I remember going to Eclipse with one of my friends at the time, and we watched that one together. And then we went to Breaking Dawn with my mom, and I just remember like freaking out. And I even think some people left the theater. Like I just remember some people getting up whenever that happened. I was like, I, I don't even know if to this day you ever have figured out that it didn't actually happen.
Oh, it's crazy.
But fun fact for that question was the Volturi are a powerful and ancient vampire coven in the Twilight series. They serve as a de facto royal family of the vampire world, enforcing laws and maintaining order among vampires.
By the way, I think I said Part 1. Is the battle scene Part 2? It is, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, because
I knew
she's
what you were
turned
talking.
into a vampire at the end of Part 1, and then she awakes in Part 2 as a vampire. So, yeah, it's Part 2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you knew, yeah, you knew.
Renesmee's not around until part two.
Right. Oh my
Nessie.
gosh. I saw a TikTok the other day of this old woman in like probably like New York City, some city, and she was walking around with this wolf and the caption said Renesmee and Jacob in 20 years or something.
I think I sent that to you.
You might have. It was the funniest thing. I died laughing. It was so funny.
Honestly, though, that's possibly true if it was real.
Yeah. The wolf was cute though, but it was a big wolf, that little old woman.
So, in the Twilight series, what city was Edward born in? Boston, Chicago, New York, or Atlantis? I feel like it has three solid good answers and then one crazy one.
Boston, Chicago, New York, or Atlantis?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it wasn't Atlantis. Well, that's not a real place, even in this world.
Could be. You never know.
For some reason, I'm leaning toward Boston.
I was thinking Boston too. Either that or Chicago. Chicago's my second choice.
I don't think it's New York.
Mm-mm.
I say let's go Boston since we both lean towards that one.
No. He was born in Chicago, Illinois.
Dang it! He's born in my state.
It says his human life ended during the Spanish influenza pandemic, after which he was transformed into a vampire by Dr. Collar.
That sounded so hot.
The way I said that?
Like being transformed into a vampire by Dr. Cullen.
Oh, I was like, I feel like that just got weird on another level, but thank you.
No, I meant what you said, not how you said it.
I was like, okay. Not on my bingo card for today.
I sounded like that guy that we always what is that podcast that you and I always talk about? The two dudes.
The backyard,
Yard.
the basement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's funny.
Okay, this one's easy. I'm just answering that one because that one was stupid.
Ah,
It asked what Edward was.
it asked what was?
What Edward is. A werewolf or a vampire,
He's
an alien or something else.
he's dead. That's what he is.
Okay, these are all easy.
He's fictional? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, this one's a good one. Who directed the movie The Twilight Saga Eclipse? Chris Witz, Catherine Hardwicke, David Slade, or Steven Spielberg? I know it's not Catherine Hardwicke because she did the first one.
David Slade for some reason feels right, but I actually have no idea. It wasn't Steven.
I don't think it's Steven.
I was going to say it wasn't Steven.
And Catherine Hardwicke, I'm pretty confident was the one that just did the first movie. I don't think she did any other ones.
The first name
She was a
doesn't ring
tall,
any
skinny
bell.
blonde woman. She kind of reminded me of Bindi Irwin's mom, to be honest.
Okay.
The Catherine girl.
Yeah,
For some reason, that's how it embedded itself in my memory.
the first name doesn't ring a bell at all.
Okay. So we're going to go David?
Sure.
We are right.
Yes. I love getting things right that I don't really know.
He's known for his work in darker, more intense films like Hard Candy and 30 Days of Night. Slade brought a unique visual style and tone to the vampire romance franchise.
Okay, you do know that he has a name that's literally one letter away from a hilarious comedian. And in my mind, I was like, is she saying him or is this somebody else? Do you know who it is? David Spade.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, he sure didn't direct it.
No, I don't think it would have that intenseness that it had.
I think it'd be much more comedy. He is hilarious.
So, what is Edward's middle name? Obviously, not the first option, Banana.
Is that really an option?
Anthony. I swear to God, it's the first option. Anthony, James, or Robert?
Anthony, James, or Robert?
Yeah. I feel like James would sound really good with his name. Edward James Cullen.
I think it's...
I don't think it's Anthony.
I think it's Robert.
I think you're right, but James sounds
I
better.
agree. But I feel like if it was James, they would have said that. Like, "What's my middle name?"
No, we were both wrong.
Is it Anthony?
Edward's full name in the Twilight series is Edward Anthony Mason Cullen. His middle name Anthony is a tribute to his human life before becoming a vampire.
And what's Mason?
I think that was his name. I don't know.
I thought it just said Anthony was his name.
It is.
So you think his name was Anthony Mason something?
I think his name was either Anthony Mason, like as a whole, or it was Edward Anthony Mason. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know.
I was just bullshitting some stuff. I don't know. Okay. So Edward Cullen is physically how old in the Twilight series? 17, 200, 19, or 18?
Oh, he's 17. Physically, how old is such a weird way to word that question, though. He's not
It
physically
it says
17.
despite being over a century old, he retains the physical appearance of a 17-year-old.
Except, actually, it's Robert Pattinson, and no, he doesn't.
Okay, this one's stupid. Which of these is not a vampire in James's coven in the Twilight series? Victoria, Laurent, Bree Tanner, or Dracula? How in the world Bree Tanner's not in his coven, in his coven. She's in Victoria's. And Dracula's also not in James's coven.
No, so how do we pick only one?
I'm gonna assume it's Dracula.
But Brie Tanner's not either. Wait.
It literally just told me Dracula was the wrong answer and Bree Turner was the right answer.
Dracula is in this, and we never even knew it.
It says in the Twilight series by Stephanie Meyer, James's coven consists of James, Victoria, and Laurent. Bree Tanner is a character introduced in Eclipse and is part of the newborn army created by Victoria, but she's not a member of James's original coven. Well, who the heck is Dracula?
Yeah. Who's Dracula? Where is he?
I feel like they are trying to get us to lose.
If Dracula was in this, he'd be the baddest.
He'd be like one of the Volturi or something.
He'd be the Volturi. Like,
There
it'd
is
be
that one dude that kind of looks like what I imagine Dracula as.
Are you talking about the long-haired, dark-haired guy that's one of the three of the Volturi, but he's like too bothered with everybody? Like he's bored.
Yes, yes.
I love
Yeah.
him. I love his attitude. he's like above
He's
everybody.
so bothered. Yeah, so bothered by the presence of people.
Can we get on with it? We have other things to do.
What is Carlisle Cullen's physical age in the Twilight series? 30, 25, 23, or 150?
I actually thought he was 40.
Same.
What were the options again? 25, 30.
30, 25, 23, 25, 30, or 150.
Well, if we're doing physical, I guess 30. But it wouldn't have made sense for him to be 30 with 17-year-olds at home. So that's wrong. It's 40.
It also says we're wrong. It says in the Twilight series, Carla Cullen is a vampire who was transformed at the age of 23. Despite being over 300 years old, he retains the physical appearance of a 23-year-old due to his immortal nature.
Oh, we were supposed to pick the age that he was turned at, essentially, not the age that he claims to
You're not
be.
wording the question right.
Yeah, that's weird.
Trivia nerds, you suck.
You know what's crazy? We're older than all of the Cullens.
I know, I was just thinking that. I was like,
Wait a minute, he's 23? I mean,
definitely looks
he's
older than
not
I do.
23, but he's 23.
Yeah. I'm just like, I keep imagining the movie one, and I'm like, you don't look 23.
No.
What color eyes does Bella have? Brown, green, hazel, or purple?
It's definitely not purple. She's not Rezan, High Lord of the Night Court.
I was thinking either hazel or brown. I think I'm leaning more towards brown, though.
I think they're brown too.
We are right.
She has the brown hair and the brown eyes. It's a combo.
Oh, this will be another shoot and guess. Which country is Stephanie Meyer from? Narnia, Canada, Australia, or the USA?
Narnia.
I
Stephanie,
want to say she's Canadian.
you know, I'm down for it. Let's go.
Nope. She was born in the United States, Connecticut to be exact.
That's almost Canada. It's not. I'm just kidding.
Could have at least waited till I swallowed my water.
It just came out. I didn't. It didn't even.
Yeah, it's close.
It's in the vicinity.
Easy. Oh, what character did Michael Sheen play in Breaking Dawn Part 2? Arrow, Batman, Marcus, or is it Caius? Caius?
Caius, I think. What's your guess?
First of all, who's Michael Sheen?
That's
second of
the
all,
real question. For some reason, I think it was Aro, but I mean, we could also say Batman because we might get it wrong anyway.
I'm going to go with your guess because I don't know.
Okay. Who is Caius?
Yes. Is that not the third one?
Is that the blonde one?
Maybe.
I don't remember. Honestly, I just refer to them as the Volturi. And
I just remember Arrow.
I don't like his makeup in this movie. Yes, Caius is the blonde one.
So, in the Twilight series, Carlisle Cullen is the son of what? A doctor, a blacksmith, a dragon, or a priest? I think it's a priest.
I believe you're correct. I believe it's a priest.
Yes.
You learn about that in
Emmett
Twilight.
Cullen was. Yeah, I did remember that because I remember them saying that he was like hunting down. I think he was hunting down vampires, and he decided to like lead charge of a group or something like that. Ended up in an alleyway and got bit.
Yep.
Emmett Cullen was almost killed by which animal when he was human? A mountain lion, a bear, a wolf, or a penguin?
It's got to be a penguin. It was a bear, I believe.
I remember it's a grizzly bear because that's what he likes to hunt now.
Do you remember what Edward's favorite animal was to hunt?
Mountain lion?
I think that's right. That's what I remember.
Okay, this is a good one. In which year was Breaking Dawn published? 2008, 2010, 1776, or 2007?
For some reason, I want to say 2010, but I don't know if that's accurate.
I was leaning for it through 08 or 10, so we'll go with 10. No, it was 08.
Dang it. So she released the last book the year the first movie came out.
Which I don't.
For some reason, I thought it wasn't that way. I thought she still had one more to release, but maybe the movie
Yeah,
came
because
out.
I was thinking.
Maybe the movie came out earlier in the year as opposed to the book coming out later in the year.
I read the last book first, accidentally.
Because you're a weirdo.
I didn't know it was a series, in my defense.
It says book 4.
It didn't when I read it.
Well, I just remember, so I watched, I think the first, see, I read them late, I guess. I watched the first 3 movies, then realized they were books, read all 4 books before Breaking Dawn Part 1 came out in the theater.
I didn't watch the movies until later, but I remember I read the first book first, and then I read all the other ones. Fun fact for me personally, I've read the Twilight series. This is now my 59th time. I
You
was very
actually
obsessed with the
counted?
Twilight. Yeah,
That's embarrassing.
I had a bet with a high schooler, and this high schooler didn't believe that I could read the Twilight series so many times. We rode the bus together. So I read it, and she would like quiz me on it like every day, and I just kept reading it. And I actually read the whole series in one day too. I woke up at like 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, read the entire series in one day.
So tell us you have no social life without telling us you have no social
I
life.
ain't ashamed of that, so
I'm just teasing.
ain't ashamed of that whatsoever.
I'm just teasing.
So now we're gonna move on to quotes. So who said I'd rather die than stay away from you? I'm just gonna leave the bullcrap ones out. Bella, Edward, or Alice?
Definitely wasn't Alice. I'd rather die than stay away from you. I
I
feel
think
like
it was
I
Bella.
feel like it has to be Bella, which is very
Yep,
dramatic.
all right. Which character said, and so the lion fell in love with the lamb? Edward, Carlisle, or Jacob?
Jacob. No, I'm just kidding. It was Edward.
Who said, I can't live in a world where you don't exist? Bella, Edward, or Alice? I would just want to tell you the fourth option in every one of these answers is pretty much always Darth Vader. And I mean,
It was him. I believe that one was Edward.
I agree. No, it was actually Bella.
That's wrong. The quiz is wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Edward.
It's been wrong a couple times, I feel like.
I'm pretty
So,
sure in New Moon it was Edward when she comes in at the Volturi and he says like you're real or whatever and she's like why would you do that?
no, I think there's a scene in Twilight where he says that, though, too.
Does he?
One of them says it in Twilight.
Evidently it's Bella. Evidently I'm wrong.
I'm gonna make up my own answers because these are stupid. Literally, it says Harry Potter. Yeah. Okay. So which
James
character
Potter.
said so which character said so the lion fell in love with the lamb? What a stupid lamb. What a sick masochistic lion. I feel like that's
They both say it.
not just one. Yeah, it's not one character. It's two.
No,
So
it is two. It's Bedward and Bedward. It's Bedward.
I know what you're thinking about.
I combined Bella and Edward. Bedward. That's their new ship name. Oh, jeez.
So who said it's a wolf thing? Jacob Black, Sam Yulee, or Billy Black?
It has to be Jacob, but I also feel like one of his other friends say it in a different scene.
I feel like Sam said it, if I'm gonna be honest.
See, I didn't think it was Sam. I thought in the scene in New Moon where they go back to Sam's house with his girl, I thought one of the other boys say it's a wolf thing, but who knows? I'm gonna guess Jacob.
Which one are you going with? Jacob?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, you're right. Well, you're right to this quiz. I don't know if you're right actually in general, but
That's fair.
you're at least right for this quiz. That it's which character says you are my life now? I want to read you the fourth option here. Dobby the house elf,
It's Dobby.
Carlisle,
Dobby is free.
Edward, or Bella.
You are my life now. It's Edward.
I think he says it, yeah.
Definitely
Yep,
not
we're right.
Carlisle.
Okay, this one's easy. It literally says who they're talking to. I'm going to leave this out and then you can guess. I'm exactly right for you. It would have been effortless for us, comfortable, easy as breathing. I was the natural path your life would have taken. If the world was the way it was supposed to be and if there was no monsters and no magic. Edward, Bella, or Carlisle?
Wait, is the question who said it or
Or
who it was said to?
who said it? Sorry. Edward, Jacob, Carlisle,
It
or
was
Bella.
said to Bella and Jacob said it.
Yeah. I
Which
missed
is
over his name, sorry.
crazy that he would be so presumptuous that her life was leading to him. Also,
I
hold
do
up.
think if Edward was not involved, Jacob would have been the choice.
He's also a werewolf. So there still would have been magic and monsters.
Well, yeah.
He ain't human. He ain't Mike.
I think Jacob totally would have fallen in love with her and stayed with her until he imprinted, which honestly he wouldn't have imprinted, I don't believe, unless because if Renesmee never happened, he never would imprint. Unless they can imprint twice. Can they imprint twice?
I don't think so.
I don't remember if that was ever talked about.
I don't think it was. I mean, I could imagine like if the person you imprinted on died, maybe you could imprint again. But I don't feel like
Yeah.
you can imprint with two people alive at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I love
That'd
the
be
idea
weird.
though that like you like love at first sight and your like souls are connected. But at the same time, can you imagine if like some random guy was like out in the street? I'd kill him. You gotta go. You gotta go.
You wouldn't have to worry about imprinting.
You gotta go. You imprinted in the sand, my man, because you gotta go. Ain't no way.
So, which character says, "Do I dazzle you"? Jacob, Edward, Carlisle, or Bella?
They really want Carlisle to be saying some stuff, and he don't say nothing.
Uh-huh.
Do I dazzle you?
I feel like it's Edward. Because I remember she says, like, in the restaurant, whenever. No, right before that, when the waitress is, like, starstruck by him, and she's like, man, you really are out here dazzling everybody. And he's like, do I dazzle you? And she's like, sometimes.
Okay, I could see that.
Yep, I'm right. Who
I
says,
love the yeah,
I'm
I'm right.
I am. Always.
It's just funny.
Who says I'm betting on Alice? Emmett, Jasper, Edward, or Bella?
Say it again.
Who said I'm betting on Alice? Emmett, Jasper, Edward, or Bella? See, here's the tricky part. I think Bella said it at one point. Possibly. But I also think Jasper said it. But I feel like it's also something that Emmett would say.
And I feel like Edward said it. I don't think it's Emmett of the four.
Okay.
I think it's something Jasper would say, but I don't recall a situation in which he would have been able to say it.
Huh.
So I'm down between Bella and Edward. And
I'm gonna go with Edward with you.
I feel like
I
there's
think
certain
it's
contexts they all really would say it, but
yeah.
I think it's Edward.
I'm gonna say Edward with you. No.
It was Bella.
Emmett said it.
Emmett.
Yeah.
Who's he? What context? What scene?
I don't know. It doesn't give me the scene.
Yeah, I don't believe you. Now, there was a scene. Now, the baseball. I kept thinking the baseball scene because it's not said. It's not that specific quote. It's like implying when what's her name says she's the one with the wicked curveball, but like Alice is their pitcher. So, like that's what I was thinking about. Like, but that's not. It's not said there. I didn't think so.
Okay, so I'm going to take some of these trivia questions from a Reddit page because I feel like they're a little bit more complex.
Okay.
So which two interests did Edward and Rosalie share? So one I know is cars.
Brooding.
Edward didn't really brood. Not really.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I know for sure it's cars though, because Edward had a love for cars and Rosalie worked on cars.
Rosalie worked on
The only
cars?
Yeah, in the book.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. If
Pop
you
off,
read as far as
sis.
I did in Midnight Sun, there was actually a scene that she gets mad and she goes out and fixes her car.
Pop off, sis.
Now, the only other thing I can think of is either music or reading. But I don't feel like Rosalie would be a reader.
Well, and we do know that Edward likes music.
Yeah.
So I would guess
Because I can't think of any other hobbies unless you count baseball.
I don't count baseball.
But I honestly don't know if Alice or Rosalie actually liked it. She just did it because it was a family thing. So you want to guess music and cars?
That's what I would guess.
Yep. It says Rosalie was the next best musician in the family after Edward, and they would tune the family's cars together.
Nice.
Next question is a little bit of a tricky one. What is the order in which the family members of the Cullen family got turned into vampires?
What is the
Not
order?
the ones that I don't believe it's the ones that like Carlisle turned. I think it's just in general.
Oh, that's hard. So, okay,
Yeah.
so
So I
based
know
off who
obviously Carlisle
Carlisle
first
okay, go ahead.
because he was with the Volturi.
Right.
So Carlisle was obviously first.
And then Edward, and then
Or would Jasper be first because Jasper was involved in the Civil War? Like in the movie, so the women's are in like those old timey dresses and stuff in some of those scenes.
my guess would be Carlisle, Edward, Esme. Now, where Jasper falls in here or after the other two, I don't know. But for sure, Rosalie, then Emmett. And now where Alice and Jasper fall in, I don't know. But I know those five are in that order for sure. Was Rosalie in the 1920s? Was it the Prohibition era? Okay, my guess would be this: Carlisle, Edward, Esme, Rosalie, Alice, Jasper, Emmett.
Okay.
I don't think that's right, but
So it's Carlisle, Jasper, Edward, Alice, Esme, Rosalie, and Emmett. And then Bella.
I forgot about Bella.
When did Jasper Cullen become a vampire?
What a
I'm going
random
to Google
thing
it.
to Google.
1863. Maria transformed the 19-year-old Jasper to help her claim the territory in Monterey.
Oh,
So, who found Bella when she got lost in the woods in New Moon?
I did. I don't know. Sam?
Sam. What does Jacob make Bella as a graduation gift, and what does Edward give Bella
Okay, wait.
for her?
So the graduation gift from Jacob is the bracelet with the little wolf, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Edward puts a ring on
Gets
it.
jelly. No, he gets jelly,
Oh, he gives her
and
a
he gets her
little.
snail. Yeah, it's like a little like red jewel or something like that to remember him by. A cold stone, I believe, is how it was referenced.
Well, yeah, and then he puts a ring on it. Pretty sure his gift was better.
Well, what does Edward tell Bella she is to him the first time they go to the meadow?
His personal brand of heroin.
Yep.
Is that really it?
This, yeah.
We know way too much about this. Even years later, we haven't reread or rewatched all of them yet.
Your personal favorite. I know you just love this scene in New Moon. How many months go by in New Moon during Bella's depression?
Oh no. How many months? I know it goes September, October, November? Ah! Hold up. I know it's, I think,
You really have to do the actions.
I'm trying to think of how long it lasts in the movie.
One rotation,
October,
two rotation.
November. I want to say it's 3 months.
For people that are just listening and not watching, Carly literally had to circle around like she's spinning in Bella's chair.
I imitated the depression circle. I want to say 3, but
I
that
didn't even
feels
hear what
wrong.
your guess was. You said 3?
Is that wrong?
Mm-hmm. It's 4.
Oh, I knew. I thought December was in there, but I couldn't remember.
So here's a kicker. This has got 2 different answers, one for the book and one for the movie.
Oh,
What is the name of the restaurant Edward took Bella to in Twilight?
I couldn't tell you for the book, and I couldn't tell you for the movie.
You want to take a guess? I can tell you there's a scene in the movie where Esme says this type of food, and I think it ties back to the fact that they changed the name of the restaurant from the book.
Italian?
Mm-hmm.
Is Italian in the name of the restaurant?
Mm-hmm. It's La Bella Italiana.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
And then in the movie, it's the bloated toad.
So in the book, the actual restaurant is the La Bella Italiana.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Esme saying that. I never realized it was referencing back to the book.
So here's actually answers one of our earlier questions we had.
Okay.
What are the human names of the Cullens?
Does it tell us that?
I know for sure 4 of them, yes.
I know it gave us Jasper's name.
Jasper, Alice, Emmett, and or not Emmett, Rosalie and Edward.
That's crazy. We know Edward's. Edward Anthony Mason.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait. That's his. Wait. That's his full name. But what's his human name?
That's what it says his human name is.
Edward Anthony Mason. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
He have no last name.
Mason.
Mason's not a last name.
Anything can be a last name.
No, it can't. That's insane.
So
Whatever.
I'm gonna tell you Esme because I don't think it's ever said, but it says Esme's was Esme Ann Evanson Platt. And I don't remember that ever being mentioned, but it could be.
These are lies. Okay, what is Rosalie's?
Rosalie Lillian Hale, which I do remember that.
I would say Lillian Hill actually does sound familiar. Okay, what was Alice's?
Alice is Mary Alice Brandon. I do remember that.
Okay, I'm trying to think of what Jasper's was because I Colonel he called himself Colonel something and I can't remember what he called himself. What is his?
I'm gonna tell you Emmett while you're thinking.
Okay,
So Emmett's it says is Emmett McCarty.
of course he has no middle name.
And Jasper's is Whitlock.
Whitlock.
Yeah.
Colonel Whitlock, I think is what he says. I don't remember. Anyways, interesting. Never would have known that. Definitely couldn't have guessed that.
Okay, so we're gonna go out on a bang here with the last question.
Okay.
What are the cars owned by the Cullens?
Oh, okay. I know that Emmett has a Jeep. Edward has
Mm-hmm.
a BMW. Oh,
No.
no, he's a Volvo. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Do you know how bad I wanted a Volvo growing up because he had one?
I don't. When I was watching the movie back and I saw the Volvo pull up, I was like, I feel like it was fancier whenever I watched the movie the first time.
Yeah, it's different now that you're an adult and you know what cars are like.
In fact, I work at a car lot, so it definitely was outdated for sure.
Well,
You're right on the track with the BMW. There is somebody with a BMW though.
it was 2008, so of course it's a little bit old. But Alice has a BMW.
Mm-mm.
Carlisle.
Rosalie has a red convertible BMW.
I knew it was a convertible. I did not know it was a BMW. Carlisle
Yeah.
has a. He says it in the movie. That's my dad's something.
Alice has a Porsche. I do know that because it was yellow because it was in Eclipse.
Hot. I thought she stole that one.
Yes, she did, but it's listing it on here. So
She must have stolen and kept it. Atta girl. Okay, does Carlisle have like a Mercedes or something?
yes, Mercedes S Class.
That makes sense. Does Esme even have a car?
It doesn't list one for Esme, but it does list one for Jasper.
I feel like Jasper has 2008 though.
It actually says that Edward and Jasper had one of this vehicle.
So Jasper has a Volvo also?
Mm-mm. It actually lists 3 for Edward.
Pop
It
off,
lists a
Edward.
Volvo. It lists a Volvo, an Aston Martin, and a Ducati motorcycle.
Oh, so Jasper has an Aston Martin.
No, it says he has a Ducati motorcycle.
Gosh, he just gets hotter every day. Dang it. Wait a minute. Edward has a Volvo, a Ducati, and an Aston Martin.
That's what it says.
That's hot too.
It says a silver Volvo S60R, a silver Aston Martin Vanquish, and a Ducati motorcycle.
Pop off. I wish I have a Nissan Rogue.
I have a Kia Seltos. Bonus points. What is Bella's 2 cars she gets before she's changed and after?
She gets that ugly truck. I feel like it's a 1963. Is that wrong?
Well, I'm talking about before, like what Edward gives her. She has a Ford truck, yes.
Is it a Ford? It's not a Chevy?
I could have sworn it was a Ford. Hold on, I'll Google it.
I thought it was a Chevy.
No, you're right. It's a Chevy.
Is it a 1963?
1963 Chevy Stepside.
I didn't know the style. Okay, so then
Gives her a car before they get married, and then he gives her one afterwards.
what?
After she change, after she changes or
Does that
whatever.
happen in the book?
Yeah, well, yes, because she complains about the first one because he gets overprotective.
Does he get like some? Does he get her like another like
If it
truck or
helps,
Jeep or something?
if it helps, he references or she references it as a tank.
Is it a Hummer?
No,
Boring. Is it like a Range Rover?
closer. It's a Mercedes Guardian. And she describes it having bulletproof glass, and I just, for some reason, I vaguely remember that scene, but like bulletproof glass and sides and everything like that. And she refers to it as a tank.
That's hot. He bought you this nice car and then he outfitted it with literally bulletproof everything, and you're gonna
Yeah.
complain about it?
Oh, 100%. She hated
Especially
it.
because she was still human. It's different when she's a vampire.
Well,
Okay, so
think of speed for the car after she gets changed. It's foreign.
they were. Does she get an Audi?
Close.
She get a Lamborghini.
Closer.
What'd she get?
Ferrari.
Oh, I can't stand these people. My dream car is an.
Did you catch on to how they're getting their money? Well, you didn't read Edward's point of view, so no. So he finally reveals how they were getting all their money because that's been a question in my head this entire time. But apparently, Alice is using her future seeing and his mind reading to play the stock markets, and they're scamming the stock markets. Because he talks about before he breaks into Bella's house for the first time that there was worse crimes that they have committed, including stock market fraud and
You
stealing other people's identities.
you mean to tell me that this 118-year-old, no, not 118. How old was he in 2008? Let's do the math. He was 107 when the first movie came out, technically. You mean to tell me he was concerned about stock markets and stock market fraud? Why didn't he just rob
So,
people? He's fast. Just rob the bank.
well, because they considered it a harmless crime.
Is it? Is anything really a harmless crime?
Did you just wave a goblet at me?
Oh, it was my cup. Thank you very
I
much.
thought you just randomly got a goblet.
Yeah, I just pulled it out of thin air.
So,
Kinda
which part of the next couple of books are you excited about reading or like rereading or like getting back in?
I'm super excited to read the sex scene. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
It's mild compared to what you read.
Don't call me out like that. Um, I'm thinking the part that I'm most excited to read in Eclipse and Breaking Dawn are honestly the fight scenes. Like, now that I've
Mhm.
read other, like, fantasy books and different things that are similar and watched, like, the world building that is possible, it'll be interesting to see how it's written here and if it really lives up to that hype now that I've read some pretty great books.
I agree. I think that, and honestly, I kind of miss Jacob a little bit, so I'm excited about that.
Jeez.
But I'm really excited to like reread a little bit more about the other clans that kind of join them for the final Valkyrie battle.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed getting to hear and see like what else was out there because you've just got the Alaska clan, them, and then the nomads and stuff that came through. So I'm really interested to hear a little bit more about them because I don't remember most of their stories. I remember some of their faces from the movie, but I don't remember most of their stories. The only one I do remember is the one that like bends Earth or whatever because he reminded me of the Avatar
Mhm.
series. And so I was like, oh, he's an earthbender. But
Benjamin is his name, isn't it?
yes, I think so.
I'm really excited to get back into that to see not only their stories, but also like what powers they have. I remember like some of them, like
Hmm.
you said, like from the movie, but I just remember there being like such a diverse group of people and diverse skill
Hmm.
sets and how invaluable that would have been in an actual battle. So it'll be cool to come back and see if it, again, if it still lives up to the hype or if like most of the powers they had would be pointless anyways, or whatever. Just it'd be cool to see. One of my favorite scenes of all of the movies is actually the scene where they're testing Bella's shielding abilities, and the one girl is
Hmm.
shocking Edward, and like that's how they're
Yeah.
testing her, and she gets mad. That's one of my favorite
I
scenes.
was just thinking of that same same one.
It is one of my favorites. And then like getting to see, I don't know, like that that part of Breaking Dawn is like kind of, it kind of takes that like found family that we feel with the Colons to a whole other level. And so I really like that.
Hmm.
So it'll be
I
interesting to
agree.
see if it still, again, still hits that vibe, still lives up to the hype.
I agree. I'm excited to rewatch the movie and like because it's been years since I've rewatched the movies too. So I'm really excited to hear and listen to that and see
It's been
that.
years since you rewatched the movies?
Hmm.
Oh, listen, so I think I read Twilight maybe like 10 times growing up, but I rewatched the movies like every year at least one time.
Yeah, I do that for Harry Potter. I don't do that for Twilight.
That's fair.
But I don't rewatch Harry Potter around Halloween like most people do. I do it actually at Christmas because I feel like it's more of like Christmas vibes.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of the scenes are set in winter.
Yeah, I can see that. They're just deadly
It's more
creatures.
Christmas.
I
Yeah,
just, fun
but that
fact,
doesn't make it Halloween.
I introduced my nieces who are 3 and 5 to Harry Potter this past weekend. So we might have new Harry Potter fans. We'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see. Paisley is the 5-year-old niece that I have, and she wants to read Harry Potter. That's what she told me. She said, I want to read it. And I said, yeah, but you can't read in general. How are you going to read Harry Potter? And so I have this cute picture of her pretending to read it to her sister in the library. It is the cute, I think it actually was a Barnes and Noble, but it is so adorable. And so every time she comes here though, she's like, "No, auntie, I want like a big book. I want a big book that I can read." And I'm like, "But you can't read. So why would I buy you a big book that's $20 when you can't read it?" Oh, she's crazy.
Get her like the Chronicles of Narnia or something like that, really thick. I had that one that was like all like a combo growing
I
up.
have.
Yeah,
Yep.
I hated that book.
I never read it.
It's a DNF for me.
I didn't read like a lot of the like typical childhood books like Percy Jackson, Chronicles of Narnia, Harry Potter. I didn't actually read those as a child.
I did. I read all of those like pretty quickly.
I wish I had.
I
I don't guess I read a lot of fantasy growing up. I guess that's what it was. I mean, technically, like Twilight does have vampires and werewolves, but like it's really more just like YA in general than it is
mhm.
fantasy. So I guess I got mild fantasy, sort of, but I didn't read a whole lot of it growing up. I guess I read more like romance. If we're being totally
So
honest, I read fan fiction on Wattpad, and that was the predominant amount of information that I was taking in, which was
so
not appropriate.
I read pretty much all of the like YA books in the elementary school library that I actually got permission from teachers to go over to the high school library
So you
because like
read,
we
like,
only had an
City and
elementary school and
Bones?
high school. Yeah, I read The City of Bones,
Peculiar
Eragon.
Children?
Um,
Oh, wow.
like I read Percy Jackson. I read a
Divergent?
lot of those.
Hunger
Yeah.
Games?
hmm
Maze Runner?
Yep.
Yeah, see, I didn't read any of those.
Yeah. I read like everything. Everything basically our elementary school library had. I pretty much read that was YA.
Did you read Lord of the
Whether it was
Rings?
romance, whether that was fantasy. No.
Okay.
No. I couldn't get into it. Still can't get into it, to be honest.
What? I like the movies. I like the movies for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, but I haven't read them. I own the books, but I haven't read them.
I do like The Hobbit. I cannot get into Lord of the Rings,
Yeah, that's fair.
but I
You
did
don't like the elves, so the fairies. They're very similar, so that makes sense.
to be honest though, like I was really tight with my local like the public library lady. She used to special order books for me because I would read through all of the books so
The
quickly. She would like
librarian,
special order. Yeah.
the public library lady,
Yeah.
the librarian.
Close enough. Anyways,
Listen,
I read all the time. So
good. That's good for you. Listen, I think it's important to have a good imagination, and I also think it's important to be able to read and understand what you're reading. And I think that's something you learn no matter what you're reading. I think that's something that you take away from it. So,
I do think it builds education, but I also think it builds like different maturity that you may not get outside of your town because it opens up kind of doorways to different problems and like situations and things like that that you typically wouldn't get. Like I grew up in a town that didn't really have, I mean there was drugs, but like you didn't really hear about people doing drugs very much. I mean, there was not a lot of culture differences. I mean, there was just like a lot of just like the same plain Jane stuff.
yeah.
So whenever I moved to Arkansas, it was a whole different story. So I read books though that taught me, you know, different things that I didn't normally get. So
Yeah, no, I agree. And even if it's not like some people think it has to be like a super deep book for you to take away things like that, and I don't agree with that. I think some of the simplest stories can teach you powerful lessons. So, highly recommend.
absolutely.
Teach them young.
So
Start 'em
what's your
young.
thoughts and ratings on this episode?
We killed it. We got most of the
Yeah.
answers right. You guys will have to let us know if you took it along with us and how awful or how well you did also, since we
Or
didn't.
how off or well we actually did.
Yeah.
Because some of these questions I'm not quite sure have the right answers that were answered.
No,
But shout
I'm
out to
convinced they
Mystic
did.
and Trivia Nerd
Yeah.
and Reddit for our different topics.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm still going to be pretty bitter about the fact that Dracula was apparently part of James's coven.
Yeah, no, that's wrong. Okay?
I'm
I don't
going to be
know a
salty.
lot, but I know that's a different movie and different book.
And technically, I would consider Tanner possibly part of his coven if you consider Victoria like a branch of.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
she creates the next group of people because of what happened with James. So I could see a possible connection there as opposed to Dracula, who doesn't even exist in this realm.
Well, my thought is James is killed, so then the seniority goes down to Laurent, and then when the Laurent is killed, it goes down to Victoria. And so technically,
In the movie, though, Laurent's in charge.
supposedly.
In the movie, he's in charge. I've grown tired of his games. How come there were no quotes by any of them?
Because it wasn't a very sophisticated.
You brought a snack. I had to do it. All right. So if you liked this episode or any other episode, please subscribe to get access to bloopers, extra content, and more on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, and just about every other platform that you can listen to podcasts on.
You can also send us book suggestions, comments, or general inquiries to our email at likewereadthem@karlandempodcast.com. You can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it's not our usual, but
I enjoyed
it,
it.
it is what it is. It was fun, but it was something different, and we really didn't have to plan or think very much. So
Yes.
that's always good to get a little good break. But we will be back with New Moon, and we are really excited for you guys to do that. And Carly's going to read a blurb from that book for you guys.
Yes. So, from evil vampires to a mysterious pack of wolves, new threats of danger and vengeance test Bella and Edward's romance in the second book of the irresistible Twilight Saga. For Bella Swan, there is one thing more important than life itself: Edward Cullen. Being in love with a vampire is even more dangerous than Bella could have ever imagined. Edward has already rescued Bella from the clutches of one evil vampire, but now, as their daring relationship threatens all that is near and dear to them, they realize their troubles may be just beginning. Bella and Edward face a devastating separation, the mysterious appearance of dangerous wolves roaming the forest and forks, a terrifying threat of revenge from a female vampire, and a deliciously sinister encounter with Italy's reigning royal family of vampires, the Volturi. Passionate, riveting, and full of surprising twists and turns, this vampire love saga is well on its way to literary immortality. That was really dramatic and bold. I don't remember it being that way, but okay. All right. Well, so tune in next week to hear more about that. And we actually will be reviewing that book next week. So no worries. But as always,
Pinky promise.
yeah, promise. But as always, we promise to Carlin like we read them.
Theme song.